Hello, my name is Richard Pressinger and I am the developer of a new program for teaching children how to read. This method is unlike anything you have seen before and will result in your student making dramatically more progress when compared to your current reading program. In fact, to stress how effective the program is, we call it Readingkey Lightning. And it is so effective that even children with learning disabilities can advance 1 year in reading ability over 4 to 6 weeks. Before I get into more details about how to use the program, let me give you a brief tour. When you begin Readingkey Lightning, you'll see our welcome page here. And let me just go ahead and click on this to get rid of it because I'll explain how this works. Alright, so what this is designed to do is to teach children the 520 most common reading words in the English language. When they accomplish that, they will be reading at a beginning second grade level. One of the things that makes this special is that words are organized from most common to least common. You'll see a red bar at the top, and this corresponds to the weeks in a grade 1 school year. In most cases, there's 36 weeks in a school year. So if you're at lesson 18, then you're reading at about middle first grade level. If you're up around lesson 31, 32, you're reading at a high first grade level. Now let me go ahead and show you some of the words in the program. So we start off with weeks 1 and 2, and these are just the consonant sounds. It's very important that the child know the consonant sounds before beginning the program. Now something else that makes this very special is that words are organized along vowel sound categories. So for example, in lesson 3, where we begin the words, we have your most common short A words. Lesson 4, you'll see the short E words. Short E says eh. In lesson 5, we have the short I words. Short I makes the sound I. That's very important because when we teach words that share the same vowel sound, students can learn the words much faster because vowel sounds are the more difficult part of the word to learn. So if we keep that the same in all words, we're making it a little bit easier. We're also helping them in learning the sounds as well. So let me just go ahead and show you briefly the words that we're going to be teaching as we go up through the weeks. Now sometimes I refer to these numbers as weeks. That's how a normal first grade classroom uses the program. This is what they teach in week 15. These words are what they teach in week 16. They teach these words, for example, the AR sound, it says R, in Monday and Tuesday of week 16. They teach the ER, IR, UR words, the sound, on Wednesday and Thursday. Now when we're doing private tutoring, it's a whole different ball game. You can advance much faster because of the efficiency of the steps I'm just about to show you. Now you'll notice once we get to week 19, we no longer have 10 words for the week. We have 20. And that is because once students reach the middle of grade 1, they've now learned the skills that will enable them to advance at a much faster pace. So we take advantage of that and not just teach 10 words per week, we teach 20. So here they're learning 5 words per day, and then we use Friday as a review and testing day. And we're still staying with the same premise of keeping the words organized along vowel sound categories. Okay, so once your student makes it to the end and has learned all these words I've just shown you, they will be reading at a solid beginning second grade level. We call that a 2.2 reading level. And that is a total of about 520 words. And these words have been carefully selected after a detailed computer analysis of the most common grade 1 textbooks used across the country. Okay, so now I've shown you the words that we're going to be using in the program. But the next question is, how are we going to get your child to learn these words? All right, so let's say that we're on lesson 3, week 3, and we're going to begin the words here. So I click on the glowing blue button. You'll now see there's 5 steps in columns, and then we have step 6 and step 7 up here. These are very special steps that we use to put these words into your child's memory. Each step becomes a little bit more difficult than the previous step. So we eventually get it so your child can read these words fluently in about 1/2 to 3/4 of a second per word. So it starts off with step 1, and all we do in step 1 is we teach the vowel sound to the student. So here in step 1, I tell your child, short A says ah. I have them repeat that back to me. When they do that correctly, I then click on the checkbox and we go to step 2. Now in step 2, the child just reads to the color. They've just learned that A says ah, and they've learned that when they see that A, they're going to make the ah sound. So now we have to blend the consonant sound in front of the vowel sound to make the sound of part of the word. You see, we're not reading the whole word here. That's why it's easier. We're only reading part of the word, and it's the strategy called stop at the vowel sound. So here they would just say ah because there's no consonant sound. Here the child would say ka because C says k, A says ah. They're learning how to blend it together and get ka, ra, etc. You'll see that the last word in our list is the word the. It has absolutely nothing to do with the short A sound. However, it is the most common word used in the English language, so it needs to be learned immediately. We found that adding one tricky word to a list doesn't cause a significant slowdown in learning the words, but you will need to spend a little more time discussing the spelling and why it is a tricky word. Also, you'll see the letter E is color-coded purple, which tells us that the letter makes an unusual sound. Okay, so when the student can do the stop at the vowel sound trick with all of these words and say that last final word, we go to step 3. And here I just talk about the final consonant sounds first. And then we have the student do what's called the echo trick, where I do the step 2. I will say the sound up to the color, and then they will say the whole word by adding the final sound. So here I say ah, and they say and. Here I say ka, and they say cat. Here I say ra, and they say ran. When they can do the echo trick, we go to step 4. Now they should be able to read the words slowly, taking the skills they've learned in step 1, 2, and 3. So go ahead and help them through these words when they can say it with no mistakes. You click the box and they go to step 5. Now comes the fun. Here in step 5, we do what's called timed reading, also called fluency reading. And what you see here is a rectangular box around all the words. When you click inside this box, it will start the timer on the right-hand side, and you can see how fast the students can read the words. And our goal here is to get them down to about 1/2 second per word, and usually most students, even with mild or moderate disabilities, can do that in 5 or 6 attempts. So I'll show you how this works. What you want to do is have your students say the first word and then click on the box. And when they say the last word, you click on the box again to stop the timer. And you'll notice that the stopwatch turns invisible once we click in the box. And that's done because we don't want to distract the student while they're being timed. So let's say the student says, and, cat, ran, man, the. So we have 3.7 seconds here if we want to accept that time. If they didn't sneeze or do something wrong, we click on the accept time, and you'll see there's a little red check mark. There's a little red arrow that appears next to the 3.7 spot, and up here in this box it shows 3.7 seconds as well. Now the student must do this 5 times before they go to step 6. That seems to be the magic number for really burning these words into their memory, and that's why we have the 5 boxes. So let's go ahead and do it again. And, cat, ran, man, the. 3.0, accept time. And, cat, ran, man, the. 3.2. And, cat, ran, man, the. Looking good. 2.2 seconds. And, cat, ran, man, the. 2.1 seconds. Okay, you'll see some fireworks go off, showing us that we beat the 3.2 mark, and we did this 5 times. And your child can then see the improvement with the red arrows on the side. When that's done, you click on the step 5 checkbox. We're actually in step 6 right now. This says step 7, but that's the button to go to step 7. So here in step 6, you'll see a little story that's not very elaborate, but it's a story that your child will be successful in reading. And that's because the words in the story are made from the list that they just learned. And that's true for all of the step 6 pages in the story. And this is actually an ongoing story that becomes a lot more elaborate as we go on. It gets into 3, 4, 5 sentences per page. We have characters such as Jethead and Flat Hat and Fox and all kinds of animals that live on a mountain. And there's a fire on the mountain, and the characters come back to save the mountain from burning. So it gets pretty exciting there. Now, once the child reads these pages here, you click on the step 7. And you'll notice we have a definition of the word and a fill in the blank of the word. Now, you can either read this to the child and help them pick the correct word, or we have a special audio link at the top here that you can turn this on. So if you'd rather, you can have our friend read this to your child, or you can take a 5-10 minute break while they do this. And this goes through all 10 words. Now let me go ahead and say that numbers 1 through 5 go through the definition of the word. Now once we get to number 6, the format changes. Here, we don't give the definition. We go back and give what's called a definition clue. And this is like a riddle, and the kids like to do this. It's a challenge. It's fun. So we give them a clue to what the word is, and the child is then forced to read through these words, getting more practice again with the word. So dogs like to chase this animal. We have cat as the answer for that one. Which word rhymes with sand?
Rhymes with sand.
This is fun to do with the classroom, by the way. So we have our voice talking through this.
You got there faster because you did this. What did you do? The opposite of a woman.
Okay, when that's done, you can choose to go to the next list and start with step 1 and do it all over again.